What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and today we're talking backpacks. Now for the past year or so, this has been my go-to backpack. It's the EDC bag from Flag Nor Fail. It's a very streamlined and simple backpack by design that I use for anything for groceries, going away for the weekend, or just carry my daily stuff around. And I like it quite a lot, but it's starting to fall apart a little bit, it's dirty everywhere, so it was time to upgrade. And a few months ago I backed a project on Kickstarter from Peak Design, and it was this, the everyday backpack. Peak Design is obviously known for its photography and camera gear, and this backpack, although they call it an everyday backpack, is also highly aimed at people that carry lenses, batteries and so on around. But it is also very usable in daily life. I have to say though that this is about as complicated a backpack as you can imagine. It has so many features that I'm not going to be able to cover everything in one video, but we're going to dive into it and show you the amazing quality that this backpack is and some of the highlights that are integrated into this package. This is the 30-liter version. There's also a 20-liter version, and this is the charcoal gray, and there's also a lighter version which is called the ash gray. But I went for the big version because I feel that you can't have too much space, and I also went for the darker version because I think that stains a lot less and stays nicer over time as well. So let's dive into it. I'll show you some of the highlights, and I can already tell you that this is a pretty awesome piece of kit. Now the very first thing that stands out all throughout this backpack, and I'll get it out of the way at the beginning of the video, is the quality. Everything from the zippers to the buckles to the material to the inside that you'll see in a minute, everything is exceptionally well made and exceptionally high quality materials. Which it should be, because this particular model costs $290, which is a whopping price tag obviously for a backpack. Immediately cancelling out a whole demographic that is just not willing to fork over that kind of cash for a backpack. But for that you get an awful lot of backpack for your money. But I have to say that this price tag, immediately positions this as a very high-end backpack, obviously. And since Peak Design obviously is known for its photography gear, this fits right in there. Because if you have multiple thousands of euros of lenses and kit in here, then you know what is 290 euros to protect it properly. Now we're going to start on the outside, obviously. As you can see, it's a fairly traditional backpack shape with an opening here on the top. It also has two openings on the side that we'll get to in a minute. The bottom has a sort of extra protection layer, so you can put it on a wet floor, for example. Strangely enough, it doesn't stand up by itself, so if you put it like this, it'll always fall over. So that's maybe a point of criticism, that it would have been nice to have a backpack that stands by itself. Now you'll see all these loops sticking out here. That is because you get a lot of these included. These are sort of strap cables that you can go through the loops, on the loops, that you can attach things like tripods or any outside gear on that doesn't fit in the backpack. Personally, I took them off because I don't really carry stuff outside on my backpack, but luckily they allow the flexibility that you can actually take them off. If you want to carry drones, tripods or anything around, they are quite nice. Also very high quality again, from the buckle to the material. So it adds a lot of extra functionality to the backpack that way. But not for me, like I said, because I'm not a professional photographer. So I really use this as an everyday backpack to carry anything from my gym gear to protein shakes, food or weekends away around with me. Now, bottom, like I said, the extra material. This also is an extra flap that opens up. They say it's for storing those straps, but for example you can store some gloves in here, because you can see that your hand can go in quite deep. It goes all the way up here, and it has magnetic closing, so nothing will fall out. The magnetic closing is something that continues here on the sides. Don't know if you can hear it, but these side pockets that are obviously for water bottles or anything have magnetic closing as well, so they stay nice and tucked away when you're not using them. But when you do want to use them, they expand quite a bit, so you can fit like a large protein shaker in here, no problemo. Same thing on the other side, really. You can also see that there's a large handle over here, so you can carry your backpack around like this as well, which is something we'll get to in a second, combination with the zipper over here. But first we look at the top opening. Now this is something that Peak Design is quite proud of, because it's a magnetic and mechanical latching system. You can see that I can pull it a little bit and nothing happens, but if I pull it properly, it unlatches and it shows this sort of ladder of metal clips that you can use to adjust how much you want to close it. Which might sound like a weird thing, but as you can see, the top expands quite a bit, so you can have quite a lot of extra room in here if you, for example, go away for a week and you want to pack pajamas and sleeping gear in there. But if you're not, then it sort of folds onto itself as well, and you can just latch it completely and you can hear it click. That's the mechanical and the magnetic click all together. Again, you know, the quality, the super nice finish, very solid, feels like it's gonna last forever, and it's a very innovative system that makes sure that your backpack is always closed, because even if you don't close it completely, you know, with the magnet, it still stays shut enough that it, you know, you don't have an open backpack laying around. So that is quite nice. Now, as promised, let's have a look at the inside, because that is where the real magic happens. The handle here is there for a reason, because even though the top opening is quite large, you will not be using it that much, since this backpack is all about compartmentalization, if you want to call it that way. Here you can see the dividers that Peak Design is exceptionally proud of. These dividers obviously are used to create compartments in your backpack that you can use for anything from, you know, in my case, protein shaker, a change of clothes after the gym, and here my gym gear, to lenses, camera gear, or anything really that you want to keep separated. Now, I'll take one out for you, because obviously they come out. Let's put the backpack to the side for a bit. So this is effectively a shelf that you're creating in your backpack, which is very nice. You put your stuff here and you put another shelf a little bit higher, and you can put stuff there without stuff crushing. You can see that it has nice Velcro, so you can attach it to the sides of the backpack, and it just sits there as a nice shelf. If you need a bit more partition, you can even create more shelves, like so. This way you suddenly have 3 shelves, so you can put a lens here and a lens there and a lens there, and it all stays nicely separated and without bumping into each other, which is great. Obviously you can also only do one side if you want to create you know, a 2-stage shelf. This allows for a lot of flexibility, and it's actually making the use of this backpack very versatile as well, because you can take these out completely if you just want a big compartment in the middle, but if you want to separate things a bit better, then this is a very handy solution. Obviously over time, you know, the sides of your backpack might wear a bit with Velcro if you take it in and out a lot, but I found that I set it up sort of maybe once or twice, and that's usually how I use it. So, you know, not much wear and tear going on there. Now you can see how the separation works here. For example, I got a large food container in here that stays nice and separated from anything else I might put over there. And then here on the bottom you can store other things, and everything is nicely organized. That said, it is interesting that they've chosen for an approach where you open the backpack on the side, because obviously if you separate it in 3 compartments, you can't reach what is on the other side, and you have to go physically to the other side of the backpack. And the front doesn't come off, so you either have top access, left access, or right access. There's no way to open the full thing up since the zippers are always there. So that's an interesting design choice, because most sort of photography oriented backpacks open up completely, so you have a big overview of what's inside. But that's not the case here. Now the sides themselves are another feature of the backpack. As you can see, there's a zipper here, of course, which opens up into even more storage and organization. These little pouches here where you can store anything from USB cables and a battery, in my case over here, to, you know, forks, food, headphones, you name it. You can put anything in there to organize your life even more. So in my case, I store, you know, practical things that I need on the go. But again, if you're a photographer, then you might want to store cards here, cables, transfer cables, you name it, anything there. Nice and soft material, obviously, since this is in general a photography oriented backpack. Everything is nice and soft, so it doesn't scratch your lenses, and it doesn't damage your equipment. Now, closing everything back up, let's have a look at the side that is actually in contact with your body. The straps, super heavy duty, again, very nice, very confidence inspiring. There's a large chest strap over here that you can sort of hook into the other strap, like so, for extra stability. Strangely enough, this part here doesn't move, so this just sits over here all the time, but this part you can adjust for height, which is a bit strange, I think. You would expect this to be able to move as well. Again, on the front, lots of loops and clips where you can hang anything from a camera to a flash or anything that you might want to need right away. Then there's some padding, which creates a bit of distance, albeit very slightly, between you and the actual backpack. So it's supposed to help for circulation and cooling, which it doesn't really do. But it's nice padding, and it provides a bit of extra stability as well. Interestingly, you can also raise this and stick your hand through completely, which is very handy if you want to, for example, put this on a carry-on trolley at the airport. Just makes life, again, a bit easier. Now the straps themselves, I hope you can see it properly on camera. There's almost like a bolt here that allows for a lot of extra mobility and flexibility, obviously because not everybody has the same shoulder width. So that makes it really comfortable to wear this backpack. On the top here there is a nice big handle that goes over the entire width of the backpack, which makes it very easy to carry it in one hand or to pick it up. The only thing that is not very handy for is for hanging it up on like a hook. For that it had to be like a bit more loopy up here, but overall it's a very nice and comfortable way to carry the backpack when it's not on your shoulders. Now last but not least, here on the top we have a large zipper going over the entire width as well, and I hope you can see it properly on camera, but there is a storage compartment for your laptop. Inside of there's another storage compartment for like folders and papers, and up here there's like a quick access pouch where you can put your phone, money, wallets, stuff like that, which is very nicely tucked away like this. It also fits anything up to a 16-inch laptop, so you can even carry that around with you, no problem, and obviously it's lined nice and softly inside as well. Alright, that's a few of the highlights of this backpack, and obviously now we have to answer the big question: is it worth 290 euros? Initially I'd say no. 290 euros for a backpack is just an insane amount of money, and it's very hard to justify that price tag. That said, if you look at the quality of the materials used, if you look at how well this backpack is thought out and how versatile it is, if you are some kind of camera professional, this is the backpack for you. There's so much you can do with this backpack. It's so well made and so well put together that you'll be very confident to put your very expensive camera equipment in here. And in the bigger scheme of things, 290 euros, you know, for compared to lenses and cameras these days, is not even that much money, and especially when you're spending that much money on gear, you want to keep it nice and safe. That said, it is super practical, it's super high quality, the materials are fantastic, and for me it fits exactly what I want from a backpack. It's expensive, absolutely. If you can afford it, this is the backpack that is definitely worth it. If not the 30 liters, then definitely the 20 liters. So yeah, in conclusion, I think if you're a camera professional, this is definitely worth the money for you. If you're not, it's hard to justify the price tag, I think, and for less money you can definitely find very good backpacks out there as well. But if you're willing to spend this kind of money, yes, this is the backpack for you. This is Peter from Reviews on Anything, with a look at the everyday backpack from Peak Design in 30-liter charcoal example right here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!